And I can't. Maybe I'm selfish. I want you to myself, I can't help it. Be with no one but me.
I don't think we're gonna cry. It's quite emotional. It's like one of those full circle emotional moments. I didn't want to cry. I didn't plan for this. Oh wow. I didn't expect that to come through like that. I'm so grateful. I'm just so really grateful for this journey. I'm grateful for everything that I have done ever since quitting my job, ever since listening to my intuition that came through and told me to leave my job. It really feels like this year that decision is starting to make more and more sense for me this year. Everything that I've gone through since making that decision is really starting to make more sense for me. And it's just it's so humbling, it's so grounding, it's so unreal for me to have gotten to this point. Now, if you're confused and you're like, why the heck is Emily crying? I am just trying to watch this YouTube video and this lady's crying. Jeez, if you've been following my journey for a while, especially, I don't know when you entered my world or when you found me, but a couple of years back after I decided to quit my job, I ended up getting scammed out of a phone that I was trying to sell. And I've mentioned this before. If you know me, you know I love gadgets. I love my phones. I love my little tiny gadgets, my Apple Watch, my laptop, my iPad, I love little tiny gadgets. I'm even this close to getting an Aura ring. But I really, really cherish and value them. I think I get that from my dad. He's also he's a gadget guy. I definitely get that bug from him. But I bought myself my first iPhone when I started working, like I think maybe 2017, 2018, I had gotten myself my first iPhone. Really, really exciting moment. I actually still have that phone. I'm maybe unhealthily attached to it, but I refuse to let it go because it just represents a lot more than just a phone for me. And so I had that phone, and then when I wanted to upgrade myself, that phone was a 7 Plus. When I wanted to upgrade myself, I got myself an 8 Plus. And I remember buying this phone, not from an iStore. I was trying to cut corners. And I really want to share this story because a part of me was ashamed about how I acquired my phone. Like, it's so freaking silly. Guys, ooh. Putting this out there is so therapeutic for me. This is such a full circle moment for me, so just bear with me. This story is getting somewhere. So I acquired the phone from like a dealer who, like, it was a cheaper version of the phone, and I wasn't really 100% sure if the quality was like full on Apple. It was more like as close to the real thing as possible in terms of what I was paying, because like it's not like I was paying like $5,000 for an iPhone. I was still spending like up to 18-20K on the phone. It's just that it wasn't the price that you would get at iStore, right? And this is how I had acquired a few of my phones. The last phone that I had I acquired through a secondhand situation. I actually ended up, like, honestly, if I go into it, I might lose you. But just know that there were a lot of phones and a lot of situations of phones manifesting and coming into my life that I didn't really want. And because I was just settling for what I felt like I could afford at the time, not believing that I could ask for more and be giving more. And it just, this thing for me with the phones really played out and showed me my relationship with money. And that's why I have been so adamant, maybe, oh, it's clicking to me, why it feels so fulfilling right now in this moment for me to get to this point where I now have this new phone that I'm going to tell you about soon, and how it came to me, because it took me so long for me to work through my relationship with money, especially when you are a liker of things like Apple devices. Those things ain't cheap. So it directly was banging and harping on my scarcity and lack relationship that I had with money, and it was very uncomfortable. And I would get a phone that I didn't want because I was settling, because I didn't want to spend the money. Even though I had it, I was scared if I spend it on the phone, like where is it going to come from? Is this a silly thing to be doing? Like, just not allowing myself to just be and have what I want and not have to explain it to anybody else. It just let that be, because there was a lot of self-judgment riddled in it, into the experience. It's freaking wild for me to honestly sit here and share this story. And I've actually shared the story in detail about me getting scammed on my podcast. It will definitely be a part of the episodes that I'm going to be re-releasing now that the podcast is due for a relaunch. So you can expect that story to come through and for you to hear it, because it really, I did not, there's a lot of healing that I've gone through my podcasting and through creating content and sharing what I'm going through. It's very healing and therapeutic for me to share this, because shame cannot exist where you name the thing and where you give it light and you're like, this is what it is. Then shame can no longer be there. So for me, this is a thing where I am freeing myself of this shame that I have lived with for judging myself and being ashamed of not having, like, all of the things, not believing that I was worthy of the things that I wanted, and feeling like they were too expensive and the next person could have it but I couldn't. And like, there was just an identity break, I want to say, because I was not identifying with the version of me who had the things that I said that I wanted. And I really had a deep desire for these things. And I'm sharing this story, and it's really not about the phone. If you think the story is about the phone, then my friend, you need to go back to the beginning of the video and watch this thing again, because this is not about the phone. This could be anything. It could be a relationship. It could be the job. It could be the career. It could be the business that you want to start. It could be anything in your life that you feel like you want, but you don't feel like you wholly deserve, you're worthy for, you're ready to receive. You have not embodied that identity of the person who is holding this thing. So to get to this point in this day today, I decided I'm going to record this video while I'm still in this emotion of just having received this phone and having it was such a pleasant experience, such an easy breezy experience. So the phone that I currently have, again, I bought it at a secondhand nature, which was totally fine. I believe there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because some people, also a few of the secondhand phones that I bought have been bought from women, and most women really keep their phones in pristine condition. So there's nothing wrong with it. I say no harm, no foul. But I knew that I always wanted a new device. And that desire was thrown into my face even more so when I got this phone, and it wasn't exactly what I wanted. The battery percentage was low. It didn't come with a box. I just had to settle for a phone without a box, and for me that just didn't make sense, because I'm like, if I want to sell my phone one day, who am I selling it to without a box? So in my mind, when I received this phone, I actually didn't even use it for like a good week or two, because I just was like, it's not really what I wanted. And then eventually I sold my previous phone, which was a 12 Pro Max, and started to use this 13 Pro Max. And I just got with it. I was like, it's fine. The phone is here. Let's just go. And I told myself that the next phone that I have is going to be brand spanking new from the box. It's not going to be a secondhand phone because I am not a secondhand lady. Like, it's not my energy. It's not my identity anymore. I am moving on from that. And so my phone, I don't know if it's the universe or just lifing. So this phone, I was out on a activation for one of the banks that I was doing an influencer activation for, and I dropped it while I was out there. Like, it was not a cute little drop. Like, we were out somewhere in the field, right? And we were on gravel and tar area, and I had the phone in my hand, and it just dropped, and it just fell, and it bounced. The way it landed, it was like boop, boop, and I was like, this is not gonna be good. But luckily, when I picked it up, the screen was not cracked or anything. It just had this little speck of a black dot on the screen that I was like, oh, okay, let's just monitor that. And so I just went about my business because I just like, the phone is fine, it's still functional, I can still receive calls. So it didn't start to bother me until I started to see the screen acting funny, like lines coming up across the screen and it like glitching and being slow. And then I found a crack on the back screen and I was like, oh gosh, it's probably time for me to call the insurance. Mind you, I'm also one of those people who doesn't really like calling their insurance, even though they pay them year in, year out. I don't really like to call to claim for things. So I was like, you know what, I let me just see what if it could just replace this phone for me, because at this point in time, it's getting to a point where it's just gonna one day like be a black screen for me, and I don't want that. I call them, and as you would have it, if you've done this process before, they send you to the assessor. I took the phone, they assessed it, they were like, nah, it needs to be replaced. And I was like, okay, cool. And I'm gonna get the new phone. A new phone, the same phone is what I thought I was getting. And I was like, great, shup. And then they call me and they're like, no, they don't have that phone in stock, but they do have the iPhone 15 Pro Max in stock, blah, 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 blah. There's a top up, blah. And I was like, what? First, I was like, wait a minute. I told the lady, because I don't make any rash decisions anymore, especially when it comes to phones and money. I like to pause and breathe. So I said, can I call you back? And I just gave myself a moment to think about it and see if I really wanted to do the upgrade or if I wanted to wait for the phone that was just going to be the same as the one that I currently have to come in stock again. And then I was like, sitting there like, what are you doing? Like, you said you wanted a brand spanking new phone out of the box, and it's gonna be the latest phone, and here it is. Like, here is the manifestation. It is unfolding right in front of your eyes. My friends, the power of the pause. It's so important to take a moment and to see yourself and to breathe and to really evaluate where you are when you're making these decisions when it comes to your manifestations, because life is so like this. It's so constantly going that sometimes you can miss things completely, because a part of me was like, hell no, I don't want to top up 5K. Like, I was like, I don't want to do that. And then I sat with it and I was like, okay, well, actually, it kind of works out. It's like I'm getting a brand new phone for 5K. And I was like, okay, I can live with it. I called the insurance back, and it turns out that their system was not like up to date, and my access was actually much lower than what they thought. So it wasn't going to be 5K that I would have to pay. It was about $3,000. And I was like, okay, it's even more of a full body yes for me to be like, that's the phone. Like, give me my phone, you know? So I was just so excited by how it unfolded. It was so easy and breezy. The people at Tech Geeks were so lovely and so helpful. The people at F&B Insurance were also really lovely and helpful. This is not a sponsored video, but I just want to shout out people when they're doing great service delivery, especially in our country. So I was just so happy. And then I came home because the whole experience has felt like out of body. I can't fully comprehend that I'm getting a new phone and I'm only paying $3K for it. And it's the latest phone. And it's like exactly what my content needs, what my life needs, what I want. Like, it's it is just the thing, and it feels so in line with this identity, this version of me that I am walking the walk as. You know what I mean? Like I just feel it, and I feel that this phone came into alignment with who I am in this particular moment. And it's so exciting because it's like, if the phone can come so easily, I wonder what else can also come through so easily. Also, I actually do have to come back and share another video of another manifestation that I'm going to be living in that has come through as well for this year, that I've been working on since last year, to really team up and collaborate with a corporate company and bring health and wellness into their space offered by me. And that has been so epic. So there's a lot happening that I am understanding why they are why it is happening now, like why the yeses are coming in now, why it's so easy now, and it's because of who I am being now. Because the old me, yo, like, so much love and grace to her, but yo, she was scared, anxiously attached, like avoidant, like all of the things. The limiting beliefs were just clouding all of the ability, the capacity to dream for something else, for something more. So I just wanted to share this story. Like I mentioned, it's really not about the phone. It's about the growth and the journey and the work and the power that lies within you doing this work. So I really wanted to share this message with you guys. It was an impromptu, not so planned video as a part of my content plan for this month, but I'm really glad that I sat here and I've shared this message with you. And I really would like to take this opportunity as well to invite you into the Empower Essence Collective, because this is a space where we're going to be doing the work that leads to shifts and changes in your reality like this. This is the space where we're going to be supporting each other, cheering each other on, collaborating, connecting, and really building and growing a community that is vibrant, that is full of women who love and support each other, who are committed to their growth, committed to learning, and committed to their own healing, and committed to embodying that version of themselves that they know they are meant to be. Because we all know, I know deep down, there's a version of you that you know is just lying dormant and has not come up yet. And that version of you deserves to be expressed. That version is waiting for you to just knock on the door and say, hey girl, it's your turn now. It is your time to shine. So I'm really, really imploring, inviting, encouraging you to join us in the Empower Essence Collective. I'm going to drop the membership details, the waitlist details actually. So I'm going to drop the waitlist details in the show notes. Click through, join us, because this is where we are really going to be creating the shifts that shift your reality. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I really appreciate you watching and getting up until this point. I love you, I appreciate you, and I can't wait to welcome you into the Empower Essence Collective. Much love. See you in the next one.